The Rock walked into the most expensive restaurant in LA, and humiliated Keanu Reeves in front of everyone. But what happened next? No one saw coming. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. But it changed the entire room, and left The Rock completely speechless. 1. The night begins. It was a glittering night in Beverly Hills. The city shimmered under the stars, and the elite buzzed around the most exclusive restaurant in town. Celeste, a rooftop dining experience known for its breathtaking views and even more breathtaking prices. Inside, celebrities mingled under dim, golden lights. Tuxedos, gowns, champagne flutes. It was a place where status was everything. At a private corner table sat Dwayne, The Rock, Johnson. Confident, loud, and surrounded by a posse of producers and agents, he laughed heartily, occasionally flashing that signature eyebrow. Then, without much noise, he walked in. Keanu Reeves. Dressed in a simple black blazer, gray t-shirt, and well-worn boots. No entourage. No announcement. Just him, quiet, almost invisible among the extravagance. But not to The Rock. 2. The encounter. As Keanu was led to a modest table near the windows, The Rock noticed him. He leaned toward his group and whispered, loud enough for nearby tables to hear, "Well, well. Look who just floated in, John Wick himself. Looks like he dressed for a dive bar, not Celeste." Laughter echoed around the table. Keanu heard. Everyone did. But he said nothing. He nodded politely at the waiter, sat down, and looked out over the skyline. The Rock wasn't done. I mean, come on. You walk into the finest restaurant in LA looking like you just walked off a bus? Someone get the man a tie. More laughter. Phones came out. Someone started recording. Keanu, calm as ever, simply sipped water. A server approached The Rock's table with a glistening dish, Wagyu beef garnished with gold leaf. "Ah, real food," The Rock boomed. Not like whatever tofu nonsense Keanu's probably ordering. Another jab. Another chuckle. 3. The silent response. Keanu gently waved the waiter over. "Just tea, please. And the mushroom risotto." The server nodded, impressed by his kindness. "Tea." The Rock leaned back dramatically. "I knew it. Real men drink whiskey. But hey, maybe he's on a Zen cleanse." His voice was laced with mockery. But Keanu smiled. That smile, calm, grounded, unbothered, began to catch the attention of others. A few people in the restaurant began shifting in their seats, uncomfortable with the way The Rock was talking. It wasn't funny anymore. Keanu continued sipping his tea, gazing out over the city. 4. A stranger steps in. From a nearby table, a little girl, maybe 10, approached Keanu with a notebook. "Mr. Reeves," she said shyly, "my dad said you were the nicest person in the world. Could you sign this?" Keanu knelt down, smiled warmly, and said, "Of course. What's your name?" "Lila." "To Lila," he wrote, "stay brave, stay kind." "Keanu." She beamed. Her father, a tech billionaire seated nearby, watched approvingly. The Rock noticed. "Signing autographs during dinner? What is this Comic-Con?" he muttered. But now the energy had shifted. People weren't laughing. A couple of The Rock's guests gave him uneasy looks. One even said, "Hey man, maybe cool it a little?" 5. The revelation. Then it happened. The owner of Celeste, a well-dressed Frenchman named André, came out of the kitchen himself. He approached Keanu with a smile. "Mr. Reeves, it is an honor. Your foundation helped my niece receive treatment last year. Please, allow us to serve you tonight, on the house." Whispers swept the room. People exchanged glances. The Rock shifted uncomfortably. Keanu stood up and shook André's hand. "Thank you. But please, charge me. Let's just keep helping more people." Another round of whispers. The Rock watched this unfold with a clenched jaw. For a man used to being the loudest, the center of attention, he was no longer the star. 6. The tables turn. Then, the unexpected twist. André turned to The Rock. "Mr. Johnson, thank you for joining us. But we do ask that all our guests treat each other with respect." The Rock's face froze. "Your comments earlier. They were unnecessary." Murmurs grew louder. Someone whispered, "Did he just get called out?" Trying to save face, The Rock stood and said, "Hey, I was just joking. We're all friends here, right, Keanu?" Keanu looked him in the eye, calm as still water. "You don't need to be louder to be heard, Dwayne." A beat of silence. Then applause. Not loud, but steady. It started from Lila's father's table. Then another. And another. Soon, the whole restaurant was clapping, not for The Rock, but for Keanu Reeves. 7. After the storm. The Rock sat down, a strange mix of anger and embarrassment in his eyes. For the first time in years, he wasn't the hero in the room. Keanu finished his meal, left a generous tip, and quietly exited. Outside, paparazzi waited. Someone asked, "Keanu, what happened in there?" He smiled softly. "Nothing important. Just dinner." Then he handed the photographer a sandwich from a brown paper bag. "You've been out here a while. Thought you might be hungry." And he walked away. 8. The aftermath. The video of The Rock mocking Keanu went viral. But it wasn't the insult that grabbed the internet, it was Keanu's poise, his grace, his kindness. A trending tweet read, "Keanu didn't say much. But what he did said everything." The Rock, to his credit, later posted a public apology. "Sometimes we let our ego speak louder than our heart." Much respect to Keanu, the classiest guy in the room. Keanu never responded. He didn't need to. Moral of the story. Power isn't always loud. Real strength lies in restraint. In kindness. In choosing peace when pride tempts you toward war. Keanu Reeves didn't win the night with words or force. He won it with character. And everyone remembered. You've always had a strong sense of justice. He knew this wasn't just about calling out bullies. It was about creating a moment that could change lives, if they were willing to listen. If you enjoyed this story, we have many more that will warm your heart. Click the screen to explore more stories of hope, compassion, and resilience. Moral of the story.